Find the equation of the line that passes through the point 1, 10 and is perpendicular to the line 2x minus y equals 2. Write this equation in slope-intercept form. Okay, so we've been given that our line contains the point 1, 10 and is perpendicular to the line 2x minus y equals 2. Well, what do we know about perpendicular lines? Perpendicular lines have slopes that are opposite reciprocals of each other. That means if we take the product of those slopes, we get -1. So let's start by finding the slope of the line that we were given. So the line we were given was 2x minus y equals 2. Let's call this line 1. Now we want to find the slope of this line because our line is perpendicular to this one. To find the slope of a line, we can put it into slope-intercept form. In other words, we just need to solve this equation for y. When we do, we get that y equals 2x minus 2. Now we can just pick out the slope. The slope is the coefficient in front of x. So here the slope is 2. Great! Now we have the slope of our line 1. In step number 2, let's use this to find the slope of the line we want. Now remember, we have perpendicular lines, so that means their slopes are opposite reciprocals of each other. So if we take the slope of line 1 times the slope of line 2, we get -1. Well, we just found that the slope of line 1 is 2, so let's plug that in. We get 2 times the slope of line 2 equals -1. If we solve for the slope of line 2, we get that the slope of line 2 equals -1/2. Well, line 2 is the line that we want to find the equation for. So now we have the slope of the line we want. The slope of our line is -1/2. Now that we have the slope of our line, let's look at setting up the equation of it. Remember, we want to write this equation in slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form looks like this. Y equals mx plus b, where m is our slope and b is our y-intercept. Well, we already found the slope of our line to be -1/2, so let's plug that in. We'll get y equals -1/2x plus b. This is our line 2, the line that we want to find the equation for. Well, we have an equation for it, so we're done, right? Well, let's look a little more closely. We have y equals -1/2x plus b. What was b again? B is the y-intercept, and we need to have a value for b, so we're not done. Well, to find the y-intercept, let's look at the information we haven't used yet. We were given that our line passes through the point 1, 10. We haven't used that yet. And 1, 10 is an xy coordinate pair. Well, in our equation, we have an x and a y. So let's take that point and plug it into our equation to help us solve for b. So in step number 4, we're going to do just that. So our equation is y equals -1/2x plus b. And we want to plug in the point 1, 10. So we get that 10 equals -1/2 times 1 plus b. If we solve for b, we get that b equals 21/2. Now we have a value for b. 21/2 is the y-intercept of our line. So all we need to do to get our answer is to plug this back in to our line 2 equation, and we'll have our answer. So our line 2 equation was y equals -1/2x plus b. Plugging in b, we get y equals -1/2 plus 21/2. This is our answer. This is the line that passes through the point 1, 10 and is perpendicular to the line 2x minus y equals 2. And it's in slope-intercept form. So we're done.